Torture is a terrible thing. No one deserves to be tortured. It is inhumane and it is wrong. These are the top 5 brutal torture machines from the Dark Ages. 5. The rat torture. The rat torture is a type of torture in which rats are placed in a container with a person, and the rats are then forced to eat the person alive. This type of torture is said to be extremely painful and can often lead to death. 4. The Spanish donkey. The Spanish donkey torture is one of the most cruel and sadistic forms of torture ever devised. It was used extensively during the Spanish Inquisition and other times of religious persecution. The victim was tied to a donkey with their hands and feet bound. The donkey would then be slowly dragged along a rough path, often for miles. The victim would be forced to watch as their own body was slowly ripped apart by the donkey's hooves. The torture was so excruciating that it was often fatal. The Spanish donkey torture was a truly horrific way to die. 3. The Judas cradle. Device. The Judas cradle is a torture device that was used during the medieval period. It is a cruel and sadistic device that would have caused immense pain and suffering to its victims. The Judas cradle consisted of a large wooden frame with a hole in the middle. The victim would be placed in the hole and then slowly lowered onto a sharp point that would pierce their body. The victim would then be left to suffer for hours or even days until they eventually died. The Judas cradle was a truly barbaric torture device and its victims would have undergone immense suffering. 2. The brazen bull. Device. The brazen bull was a torture device used in ancient Greece. It was made of bronze and shaped like a bull. The victim would be placed inside the bull and a fire would be lit underneath it. The victim would then slowly roast to death. The brazen bull was invented by Perillos of Athens in the 6th century BC. It was used as a method of execution by the Roman Emperor Claudius in the 1st century AD. 1. The Iron Maiden. Device. The Iron Maiden was a torture device that was used during the medieval period. It was a large metal frame that had spikes on the inside. The victim would be placed inside the frame and the spikes would pierce their skin. The Iron Maiden was often used as a form of public torture, as it was a very slow and painful way to die. There are many different accounts of the Iron Maiden, as it was a popular torture device during the medieval period. One account describes the Iron Maiden as being used to torture a woman who had been accused of being a witch. The woman was placed inside the Iron Maiden and the spikes pierced her skin. She was left to die a slow and painful death. Another account describes the Iron Maiden as being used to torture a man who had been accused of stealing from the king. The man was placed inside the Iron Maiden and the spikes pierced his skin. He was left to die a slow and painful death. The Iron Maiden was a torture device that was used to inflict a slow and painful death. It was often used as a form of public torture, as it was a very effective way to scare people. The Iron Maiden was a popular torture device during the medieval period and there are many different accounts of its use.